The 2026 Canadian Grand Prix was way more than we wanted.
So much more.
It was absolutely phenomenal.
Yes.
George Russell's weekend was not phenomenal. He has said that the universe is against him.
It is.
Antonelli is the boy that cannot lose.
Mm-hmm.
McLaren thought it was a wet race. It wasn't. And many different teams have come through the field. Canada was wild. Lewis Hamilton's greatest weekend with Ferrari. In a post-interview, he goes, "This is my greatest weekend."
Yeah.
And then he paused and went, with Ferrari. And I was like, dude, you are loving this.
Dude.
Canada.
Oh,
Canada.
It was a fantastic weekend. And you are so right to cap it how you did. If you're Kimi Antonelli, it's sunshine, it's optimism, it's the world is your oyster. Now, the whole weekend wasn't that way, and we'll get to that. But the weekend as a whole and where he sits now in the championship, that's where he's at. It's just so much momentum.
Exactly.
It's like the guy is just sweating momentum. And if you're George, you're just sweating defeat at this point. It was such an incredible inter-team dynamic, an incredible flashpoint where Mercedes, Toto himself had to step on down, get involved over the radio. Again, incredible.
Which
Hamilton.
when Toto gets involved, it's business.
And isn't it so interesting? Toto has normally gotten involved with George because George has been the more emotional one. This week he's gotten involved with Kimi over the radio.
Yeah.
And I love the fire Kimi brings.
Yeah.
Especially when he's just like, wait, what the heck?
I feel like his whole generation brings an edge of like basedness. Like they're just kind of based.
Yes.
Like they're super aggressive. Like him, Liam. You also have Hajar, who is like flying off the handles. And I love it. I love the aggressive nature of it. It's not political. It's not the like, let me, talk circles around this. Yeah. It's no, I'm pissed.
Well, I love it. They're just there to race.
Yes.
And if you're an F1 driver, you should just be there to race. And so these young guys, they have literally nothing to lose. Well, I'll say this. They could lose everything.
Yes.
And we've seen teams sack drivers.
100%.
A couple races.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're showing up, and the expectations aren't the expectations you'd have on a Hammy, the expectations you'd have on a Max, the expectations you'd have on a George. There's a little bit more breathing room. And so these guys are just freaking gunning lights out.
Right.
And that's an incredible thing. And Kimi like embodies that on behalf of that entire cohort.
Yes.
But he's got the car to back it up.
Yeah.
And he's streaming for the freaking championship at this point.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like Mercedes coming into this weekend, they dominated, obviously, FP1. They locked out the front row.
Yes.
Russ gets pole both in the sprint and the Grand Prix. But not as dominant as we thought. I mean, now, granted, Kimi finishes almost 10 seconds ahead of Hamilton. At most of the point of the race, Hamilton was having fastest laps.
Yeah.
And so the Ferrari has also taken a leap forward.
Yep.
And, Mercedes coming into this weekend was very much Mercedes versus Mercedes.
Yeah.
Not Mercedes versus anybody else. We thought maybe McLaren, but they completely flubbed the weekend, and we could talk about that in a moment.
Yeah.
What I do want to talk about is how our effervescent friend, George Russell, came into the weekend. How did George come into the weekend, Ben? How did George respond after the sprint race?
Well, we talked about this before we started recording. So here's the thing that I react strongly to in any area of my life. I hate when people lie to me. I hate when people try to freaking gaslight me and act like I'm crazy for being the logical one. Now, the last several episodes, we have said, hey, wow, Kimi's got the momentum.
Yep.
Guess what? Kimi's leading the world championship. Us and every other F1 commentator in the universe of F1 has all said the exact same thing.
Yes.
Because we're all just reading the tea leaves and we're seeing what's in front of us.
Yeah.
George is the one person out here in the universe who's like, oh yeah, no, I'm not thinking about that at all. Like, that's a story you guys are all telling. I'm not saying any of that. After the sprint race, when he finally has a win,
Yeah.
and he gets his
In a sprint,
and he gets his 8 points. Simon Lazenby, friend of the show,
love Simon,
Lazenby, is having an interview with him, doing the walk, and just asking him some straight up questions about, hey, in the sprint, you and Kimi, there was some tension. Toto had to come on the radio. He was just saying, this is what
100%.
happened.
Yes.
What do you think? And George was being, I'm just going to say, it was being untruthful and was trying to spin this narrative of like, listen, hang on a sec. This whole thing about Kimi being the youngest to lead the world championship,
right.
That's a story everyone out there is saying. That's not something I'm thinking about. It's not even on my radar. I'm just here. I'm focused on the race, doing my thing. Like, none of this stuff like matters or is relevant. And here's why that pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
It's not honest. And it's not actually reflecting the reality. Now, I get it. All these guys are media trained, and we call George effervescent for a reason. He's really smooth when he's winning. Like, dude, he was like tossing the mic back almost, just like straight up, just perfect posture, just walking through the grid like $1 million.
I hate when he tosses the mic back and forth.
I was like, hang on a sec, George. The reality is this kid is still leading the championship. And yes, the sprint was real spicy.
Yeah.
But stop acting like we're crazy because we're just calling it like we see it.
Yes.
So after the sprint, I just felt like George was doing some gaslighting, was trying to rewrite the narrative. And then again, we go to the race and he just gets freaking unlucky.
Yeah.
And again, like, we don't know who would have won.
Yeah.
I'm interested in your perspective. If they had went the entire race, A, do you think George wins? B, do you think they actually make contact? And either one or
they made contact.
No, like make contact to the point where one or both cars is out.
That's a good question. I think when
we weren't even halfway through and they were already bumming.
I mean, well, here's the thing that I loved. Number one, 30 laps. You're on the edge of your seat the entire time.
It's incredible.
The amount of legitimate racing leader changes we had was incredible.
Yeah.
It was exactly what I wanted. It was fight after fight after fight. And they were losing time, which meant that the entire pack was catching up to them. Mm-hmm. So you got pressure at the front with two fighting. And as they're fighting, everyone else is catching back up to them. I'm just loving it. And then the team's coming on the radio going, hey, guys, we're losing too much time. So then they go ahead. And then Antonelli's got him in his sights. And he's just dive bombing him. And I'm loving it.
Incredible.
And then, of course, tragedy strikes for Russell. The PU just fails.
It was like Zeus just had a thunderbolt and just threw it down and said, you're done, Russ.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't know who would have won. The reality is that I think what we're looking at is George Russell has everything to lose.
Yes.
He finally has the car.
Finally.
But he's at the mid to late point of his career in F1. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, oh, we can wait another reg set for me to get a car to win in. He might not be here. He might not be at Mercedes.
Can I throw something at you real quick?
100%.
I'm going to say this. George Russell is not a Lewis Hamilton and he's not a Fernando Alonso. He's not going to have that kind of career.
No. He's trying to become one, and he knows that this is the only opportunity he has to get a world championship.
Yes.
And so what we're looking at is somebody who is desperate for it. He's coming into the weekend and he's trying to downplay the narrative that the momentum is behind Kimi. He's trying to downplay the narrative that the last 4 races, he has not won. He's trying to hinge it on luck. He's trying to redirect us by saying, this is just what the media loves to talk about. I'm not worried. I'm not concerned. Fast forward to Sunday afternoon when he is down 43 points on the championship. And he is now visibly like struggling to find the words in the media pen to describe how fraught he is. and how the universe, all of a sudden, the guy who didn't care is like, the whole universe is against me. And the last 4 races haven't been any different. And he's like, and I'm like, wait a second, you told me it didn't matter leading into this weekend.
After the sprint.
I thought everything was cool. And you can just see this facade of perfection, this test tube Formula One driver that is George Russell almost crumbling before your eyes. Dude. And then you've got the young kid who's in his like literal
second season, baby.
The birth of his career.
Yeah.
One of the hottest things. He's breaking world records and he's not even a world champion. And
yeah, dude.
He's like, yeah, I could win this, or I could win it next, or I could win it, in 5 years from now. And George is going, I don't have that kind of time.
No.
I need this now.
No, dude, I think this season has the potential to break George Russell.
Yeah.
Like George Russell pre this season and George Russell post this season are going to be 2 different drivers.
Yes.
And this really is like the fulcrum moment for George Russell upon which his entire career is going to hinge. It's either going to go him up and to the right as a champion or him disgraced by his teenager teammate.
Literally.
Literally.
His rookie teammate.
It is a 0 or it's a 1.
Yes.
It's a binary.
Yes.
It's either like I'm going to win this or I'm going to lose this, and I'm going to lose this in historic fashion.
Yeah.
Now, again, I'm going to go back to Cleveland. Cleveland? You're so sick of me talking about Cleveland.
It's just funny because the Cavs have a game tonight. So,
I know. We're going to lose.
And they're literally
down.
They're literally down 3-0 right now. And they've probably lost. I'm going to look it up while you talk. I'm looking it up while you talk.
Oh, we lost.
4-0, dude. The curse continues.
Dude.
Not even KD can't even bring it, dude.
Okay,
oh, my gosh.
Here's the thing. Losing is one thing. Losing in
losing is a way of life for Ohio.
Historic fashion is another.
Yeah.
When you are a athlete that loses in a historic fashion and someone else makes history as you lose, that scars you.
Yeah.
And again, someone who grew up in Cleveland, the Browns, the Cavs, the Indians, now the Guardians, like they are deep fissures, deep scars in the psyche of the people who live there and the athletes on those teams, because you didn't just lose.
100%.
You lost when it made history. And George is looking down the barrel of, if I lose, it will make 100%. History. And he will not be the same
100%
when that happens. And so again, like this is what's at stake for George right now.
And it's not going to stop.
No.
Toto had said, there's so much at stake for both. There's so much at stake that you have to, as a team, as uncomfortable as the ride is sometimes, you have to accept that this is the fight they've been trained for. Meaning, we're going to keep letting this happen. We're going to keep allowing them to fight. And that's good for us. That is not what George wants to read on Monday morning when he's debriefing. He wants, I'm supposed to be I thought I was the team leader. I thought I was the number 1 driver. And Kimi's going, no, you're not number 1 driver. Grazie.
Grazie. First off, I love that Toto says this, because it's A, good for the sport.
Yes.
It's B, good for us as the fans.
Yes.
It's C, great for Kimi Antonelli.
100%.
And it's great for the team because they're allowing their drivers to go for it, just like McLaren allowed their drivers to go for it and said, hey, we don't have a number 1 driver. We're just going to go for it. They gave us a gift of a season last year because 100%. They did that. Mercedes has the ability to follow suit, which again is a little unique for Mercedes because they historically have not done that.
Exactly.
Now here's where, if I'm George, I am feeling the universe is against me, because if I'm George, I'm going into the season saying, hey, I'm in a team that has a number 1 driver. I'm in a team that historically has said, hey.
Yes.
Bottas, great to have you. We love that you're in our second seat.
Correct.
And you're in our second seat.
Yeah.
George is like, I'm the heir apparent. And I'm not with McLaren where like there's ambiguity around who the number 1 driver is. I'm in Mercedes. And so for him, so early on in the season, for his team principal to say, yeah, we're letting him go. If I'm George, I'm feeling hoodwinked. I'm feeling betrayed. I'm feeling like, wait a second, maybe the universe is against me because A, this was supposed to be my team.
Right.
It's not. B, this was supposed to be my car. It's not. C, this was supposed to be my year. It's not.
It's not. I'm 43 points behind. I am in the start of a new regulation. I'm supposed to be taking advantage of these first few races, and he's feeling like he hasn't been able to get into a rhythm because there's been long gaps. And his teammate, however, is figuring it out. Okay, so if Mercedes was a tale of two sides of the coin, what's the phrase I'm going for here?
Tale of two cities.
Tale of two cities. Ferrari was not dissimilar. Hamilton comes home in P2. Leclerc does not.
Worst weekend ever.
Leclerc literally coined his weekend as the worst weekend, not at Ferrari, ever in Formula One. And he drove for Alfa Romeo.
He's being a little dramatic, though. He's had worse weekends than this one.
I'm sure he has.
Monaco, when he pulls into pit and it's freaking Carlos in front of him and it's raining and he loses the lead.
That was right.
Ah!
Yeah.
But why is he saying it's his worst weekend ever? What's behind that?
He thinks he just struggled to find any confidence in the car whatsoever. The thing that I do like about Chuck is Chuck says it's clearly not the car. Look at Lewis.
Yeah.
He just got P2.
Yeah.
It's me. I couldn't get the heat in the tires. I couldn't figure out the balance. I couldn't get confident in the setup of the car. And so he struggled the whole weekend. And you could not only see it in his body language when he was in the paddock, when you got glimpses of him, but you could hear it on the team radio when they're talking to him, trying to call out Lewis's lap times. And he's saying, I don't need to know that, which, well, actually, it's the most comparable lap time that you could get to since you're in the exact same car as him. So you kind of do need to know that. He's like, don't talk to me. I'm going to crash the car. It's like, it's a whole, he's just, you got the feeling that it wasn't really what he was saying. It was how he was feeling is what he was talking through.
Yeah. And again, here's the thing. Now,
he salvaged fourth.
He did. But we are in a moment in the Drivers' Championship where Lewis Hamilton is only 3 points behind Chuck.
Yeah. Well, this is the third time in 4 Grand Prix that he's finished behind Hamilton.
And that wasn't the case.
That was not the case last year.
Lewis has figured it out. And Lewis is driving almost, and I say this, and I know how this is going to sound, almost like Kimi Antonelli. There's like this rebirth, this resurgence.
That pass we saw, that late break we saw on Max was literally it. I felt like I got thrown back in time 10 years. And I was like, what just happened? That's the risk I'm talking about. That's the skill we've all been looking for. I was
incredible.
I was like, I need this. I needed this.
Where's my bottle of wine? Where's my Ferrari? Here's what I thought was incredible about that pass. Lewis is like, Kimi, let me show you how it's really done. You can't pass on the outside. I'm going to pass on the outside. I'm going to do it over Max. But no, Lewis was alive.
It was a near perfect Sunday. And I was not expecting it after his sprint race. He clips the wall of the champions, loses positions. He had a rough sprint. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, race day comes, and I'm like, bro, who's in the car?
Dude.
This is amazing.
And I want to go with Lewis for a second here.
Yeah.
Lewis at China and Canada did not get into a sim to prep. He chose to not include sim racing as part of his weekend prep, and those were his best finishes.
Let's go.
And he's even said, hey, listen.
You love that. You're anti-technology, so dude, you love that.
Dude, we rode those sims. I freaking threw up.
You literally left. You didn't tell us, but you left and you threw up. And then
I left, went to the bathroom, threw up, and then you're like, "Hey Ben, we gotta record you next." I'm like, "Oh God!" You know who also got sick on the Sims? Michael Schumacher.
That's right.
You know, so but this was incredible. Lewis is like, "Yeah, I'm not including Sim in my prep anymore because I don't need it, and unless it is a carbon copy, exact what I'm going to get on track, it actually does not benefit me. And so now I think Ferrari is probably bummed because they're not going to get any of that data. They're not going to get any of that feedback from Lewis. They're not going to get him in a sim giving them information. But
they're not that bummed if they're getting P2.
No.
They're not that bummed. On another note for Lewis, this is his 11th podium in Canada at the racetrack. He loves Canada.
One of his best.
He was like beamy. He's one short of breaking Schumacher's record since you said it, which is pretty exciting. So this weekend, literally, if you were to take the Lewis Hamilton in post-race interview versus the Lewis Hamilton of last year in post-race interview, you would think that they were completely different, like from different Spider universes, like colliding. Like one is Spider Noir and one is like, Spidey and his friends. Like it is wild, the difference. And I was like, is he back? That's my question. Like, is Lewis back? These changes that they made.
We desperately want him to be back.
Everyone wants Lewis back. It's a story that we've all been waiting for.
We want him to be able to get that next world championship title. Like, imagine Lewis against Kimi for the title.
Let's go.
Like,
the
guy who replaces him.
The guy who literally bear hugs Kimi after the race, picks him up. Like the guy that left the handwritten note in Lewis's old changing room for him.
This is what everyone wants. Now, I don't know if we're going to get it this season.
Yeah.
Because Kimi is running away with this thing. And Ferrari gets second. It's great. Now, there is a little bit of an asterisk there because McLaren just bombed out this weekend. But again, still second, and it's Lewis's best weekend with Ferrari. So again, we all want him to be back.
Yeah.
Is he back? I don't know.
Well, I feel like it would have been a little bittersweet for him because he finishes in P2 and ahead of him is the person that took his seat at the team that he left. So there's that element of it. But also behind him is the person that everyone's been saying, like, can you even beat this guy? And for the last few races, the answer has been, yes, I can. And so I think Hamilton's in a good spot. I think when it comes to Ferrari in getting that car to a place where he could fight for a world championship this season, it really comes down to whether or not Ferrari is allowed to adjust their power unit. So after this weekend, this is like super lame, so I'll keep it quick.
No, go for it.
If
someone's listening to us, they're into the weeds in F1. So
the powers that be, they dictate a performance clause on the engines. So if the engine is underpowered, think Audi
last year,
or Audi this year.
Yeah.
And then you've got Mercedes, who obviously they're not going to be able to make any changes. But if Ferrari is able to make changes and they're able to improve their power unit to get more power out, because it is underpowered in comparison to Mercedes right now, but their aerodynamics are on par, if not better than Mercedes.
Yeah.
So if all of a sudden they come to the track with an engine that is as good as Mercedes, and it literally comes down to aero, we could be looking at red at the front again.
I mean,
we could be looking at maybe not the championship because Mercedes has a pretty strong lead right now as a team as a whole.
They do.
But we could be looking at least the Drivers' Championship, which would be wild. Well, it would take a lot of luck, and Kimi would have to lose the champion luck right now that he's got, but it could be fun.
No,
there's a lot of races left, Ben. There's a lot left.
We're so early on, and this is why any big shifts in momentum still have a long way to go.
Yeah, 100%.
So even with Ferrari's able to make that changes. Like imagine Hamilton with a car that can fight George and Kimi. You think Hamilton's not gonna bring it to those guys?
Oh, he's gonna bring it, and he's gonna bring it hard.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he's gonna do what he did to Max today. And I want it. I want it all over the grid. I want him to do it to Max. I want him to do it to George. I mean, imagine Hamilton in a car competitive with a Mercedes, hunting down the kid that was in the seat next to him. It is insane.
It's one thing for Kimi to be fighting George, who has 0 world championships.
Yes.
It's another thing for him to have Hamilton in the review mirrors. Like, that is a different psychological thing.
100%.
Now, again, yes, Kimi is on the grid alongside a Lewis, a Max, but their cars aren't as fast.
No.
So yeah, dude, unreal if they can shift.
And the thing about Ferrari that's impressive to me is that Hamilton's coming on this. So they introduced these upgrades in Miami,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had a sprint weekend, and now they're going to Monaco, which is basically going to be a whole new car because it's super high downforce.
Yeah.
So we don't even really know what these Ferrari upgrades can do. Like,
no.
after Monaco, we could be looking at an even playing field. And that would be absolutely insane. However, that is not what happened to our friend Chuck Leclerc.
Nope.
He was frustrated.
Well, again, like, I'm going to draw a comparison here real quick if I can. Chuck and Russell are in a really interesting dynamic. Russell's got the next Lewis Hamilton as a teammate. Chuck has got the Lewis Hamilton as his teammate. And both Chuck and Russell are in a very similar place in their career. They've bet on the teams they're with. And for Chuck, his bet has not paid off. And he is looking and saying, the only way I get to stay in this sport is if I win a driver's championship. And it's so fascinating that both Hamilton and Kimi are coming alive at the exact same moment, just as Russell and Chuck are struggling. And so you've got kind of these ascending parallels and also these descending parallels where Chuck's got to be looking across the garage saying, God, like, I have got to get a title before Lewis gets his 8th.
Yeah.
And if I don't, I'm not guaranteed anything.
Yeah.
I'm not guaranteed a future here. I haven't delivered.
That's
now,
so
again,
true.
It's the only thing that guarantees and hedges my legacy is me winning a title.
Yeah.
And if I don't have that, I am not guaranteed anything.
And what's worse is he's looking at his friend Norris going,
he did it.
He did it.
And
he's going, am I just another George Lewis, but without the car?
I mean,
am I Albon? Like, these are the people that he's a part of.
Yeah.
Am I Gasly, who's kind of getting lost into the ambiguity of the midfield?
Yeah.
Like, in 20 years, when people think back on this part of Formula One, they will think of Lewis Hamilton, Alonso, Vettel, Verstappen. Will they say Chuck? Will they say...
Right now, they will not.
Right now, they will not. They'll say Norris because he's a world champion.
Yeah.
They'll say Jenson Button because it was 2008.
Yeah.
Will they remember Charles Leclerc? Will they remember Chuck Leclerc?
Will they remember Carlos Sainz?
Will they remember these?
Albon?
This is
Hulk?
This is why they got into Formula One. And he's looking, to your point, to steal your phrase, he's looking at the barrel of the gun going, I got to make this move. Yeah. And right now, the craziest thing he said was, I've got to look at the data to get on Lewis's level for this weekend. So now the pendulum has shifted from Chuck's got to catch up to Lewis has got to catch up to Chuck to now Chuck is chasing Lewis.
Dang. And this all happening in just a single season. Last year, Chuck finished almost 100 points ahead of Lewis.
Yes.
He was the driver at Ferrari that year. And now Lewis has turned it on. And again, like, we've talked about how the young drivers would be the ones that these regs would benefit. Lewis is among the drivers who are benefiting from these regs.
Yeah, which is interesting.
And he's been in here for 2 decades.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
And that kind of takes it down to, like, that kind of kills the argument of, like, oh, it's just regs for the young drivers. Like, they're going to be the ones that can adjust to this. Lewis is out here putting in an amazing performance. Ferrari this season, I'm going to run something by you,
please,
that I've been mulling over.
Yeah, let's go.
They might be looking as contenders for a world championship in these regulations?
I'm looking at the team scores right now, and I would say absolutely.
And I am saying that with zero red running through my blood. Zero.
For those who are watching,
it's my
online,
son. It is my son's Ferrari behind me.
There's red. Just pointing out.
There's
all
a different
of the
red that runs through my blood.
There's
a different red that runs through my blood, but I'm not allowed to talk about it on this show. And so I'm going, man. I'm not talking hype. I'm talking like trajectory. If their development continues, if this engine is approved to be improved upon, excuse my redundant language, we're looking at possibly Ferrari winning the championship.
Oh, absolutely.
And
it's a possibility.
I am here for it.
Yes.
The thing that is abundantly made clear when you make a statement like that is, okay, so it's Mercedes and maybe Ferrari. The name that we should be saying is McLaren, but we're not. What a cluster toad of a weekend for McLaren. Dude, you thought I was going to say it.
I know. We are a clean podcast here. Sometimes
the tire gamble that wrecked their Formula One Canadian Grand Prix. Hey, we'll
Oscar's
say this.
Like, can we get off of these inners? What are we doing?
Okay, yeah, the guy who swore it was going to be a wet race. Okay. At least McLaren is faithful to being horrendous at Canadian Grand Prix in general.
Dude,
they have continued their legacy of trash Canadian Grand Prix. This is wild.
Here's a really frustrating bit because Lando jumps to the front.
Oh, dude,
of the race.
He took full advantage, and then his car took a dump.
Just like his car goes out, but he just has this moment in the sun, and then I'm like, well, he's going to drop to 17th place because he's got to come in and change his inners in like a lap or two.
Yeah.
And so McLaren botched the tire strategy, and then just the car dropped out from under Lando.
Yep.
But Lando was right there with Mercedes for the sprint. Like
they were the only front runners to start on the intermediate tires.
It was a terrible choice. It was a terrible choice.
It was terrible.
That's all you can say. I mean, if you're McLaren, here's the hard truth right now. You are 113 points back from Mercedes, who's in first place. You're in third place with 106 points. Ferrari is 41 points ahead of you, and they are widening that gap. They're in second place. Now, again, it's Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren. Red Bull is like 50 points back of McLaren, and they're best of the rest at this point. But if you're McLaren, the fact that we're not in conversation for first place,
it's nuts.
After our last two seasons of domination, like that's unacceptable to McLaren.
Yeah. Well, also you just had it was just everyone was off.
Yeah.
The thing that bugged me the most, talk about gaslighting, is when Stella said, the call to start, you have to consider that the tires are fit 5 minutes before the start, and that they were kind of 7 minutes when we needed to operationally make this decision. Basically, what he was saying is that we it's not necessarily wrong that we made this call. What about the rest of the freaking grid? So you're telling me that freaking Cadillac and Audi made a better decision than McLaren, one of the longest standing teams, bro.
Aston Martin,
who's basically F3 right now. It's what are you guys talking about? Then to pour salt into the wound, you have Piastri just hitting Albon. There's no way to say it. He just was like,
into the side of him.
Sorry, didn't see you there.
Just ice cold. Let me just
fumble the ball, dude. I was
smoke billowing from Albon's car. I'm like,
poor
oh my
Albon,
God.
dude. James Vowles is already sweating in every board meeting that he's in right now.
I know.
And then you've got Albon getting taken out by freaking Piastri. And then Norris recovers a gangster just for his engine to fail.
No, it was, we globally here, we had 5 DNFs and 1 DNS this race. significant for a race here. But when as McLaren goes, Oscar finishes 11th outside of points. Ollie Behrman finishes in front of him. Carlos Sainz finishes in front of him. Pierre Gasly finishes in front of him. Liam Lawson, Franco Colapinto. All of these are drivers who should not be finishing in front of Oscar Piastri.
Not even close.
Freaking Franco Colapinto from Alpine is finishing in front. Like, what the hell is happening?
100%.
So, this was a weekend for McLaren to just forget, get it out of their brain.
Norris literally was like, hopped on a plane and flew to an Indy 500 after party with Daniel Ricciardo. That's how out of he's like, I don't even want to be in F1 anymore, dude. It's just such a bad weekend.
Get out of here.
Getting on one of these jets, and I am just out of here. I'm going to go hang out with Danny Rick at the Indy 500 in Indianapolis.
Dude.
Let me tell you, when you know you're depressed, when you optionally go to Indianapolis.
Dude, have you been to Indianapolis?
No!
I have been to Indianapolis, I think twice, driving back to Ohio. And unfortunately, both times we're in the winter. And I was like, why would anyone build
Why does this place exist? I'm like, the only reason you would go to Indianapolis is for the Indy 500.
That's it.
That's the only reason.
That's it. Low point for McLaren. Here's a question for you.
Low point. Lowest point. Lowest point.
What's the game plan for Monaco if you're McLaren? Do they have a game plan? Because right now it is
you want to know my real
good.
fear? You know my real fear for McLaren is?
Please.
I think they may have lost their North Star. I think
I'm just getting Mercedes flashbacks.
That's why I say that, is because here's what happened this weekend. They removed an upgrade that they put on.
Yeah, that's not good.
Let me tell you what McLaren never does in their dominant era right now. They've never removed upgrades. They've always systematically brought upgrades that have made them incrementally better and better and better and better.
Sometimes massive better.
So they put something on and they went, oh, that didn't work. And I went, you don't do that. And everyone has been talking about how you don't do that. And everyone has been expecting you to put this package on and for it to happen. And then your weekend was what I would relate to a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
And now we're going into Monaco. And I'm like, dude, there's not going to be any overtakes.
No.
And you guys freaking struggled in qualifying.
Yeah.
And so McLaren could be looking at single-digit points again this coming weekend. Are we going backwards? Are we pedaling back? And then you have their team principal saying that, hey, it's a tough call, but we didn't make the wrong call by doing intermediates. And I'm like, bro.
He's just George Russelling us.
Just
Stop George Russelling us.
You made the wrong decision. Everyone else made the wrong decision. And I'm like, man, are we looking at a regression again from McLaren?
Well, it's really interesting because, again, the parallel to Mercedes obviously has their era of dominance. Red Bull finally kind of cracks the code in that last season. And then Mercedes just was lost in the wilderness and just gone. And it just happened. And again, we are still very early on. McLaren has been known to snap back.
Turn it around, 100%.
But they are 113 points back from Mercedes in first place.
Yeah.
And Ferrari has got some mojo and Hammy's got his thing and he's gunning for it. And so again, McLaren has had a couple podiums this year and they have had a ton of dumpster fire weekends where sometimes their cars aren't even starting the race. And it's just wait, what is going on? So to your point, have they lost their North Star? If they don't adjust and find something that sticks that they can find a foothold in, they're looking at a season where I think that's the only way to put it. They're in a bad way.
Exactly. I mean, you look at this weekend and they came and the upgrades didn't work. You have the wrong tires. You have Piastri having to pit, dropping down the field. You have Norris getting gearbox that fails, and then you have Piastri colliding and getting a 10-second penalty. I'm describing a Racing Bulls season. I'm describing an Alpine season.
Or like a Williams
I'm describing like a
season.
Williams race weekend. Like,
Yeah,
but it's McLaren. One of these things, you would be like, okay, you had a bad weekend. All of these things, this is not good. This is just not good. Period.
Yeah, I mean, the universe is against McLaren. Like George Russell feels like it's against him. But like this was one of those weekends where you're like, oh, this just went from bad to as bad as it can get.
Yep.
So we'll see if they turn it around.
Let's talk about our Dutch superstar because the 4-time world champion Max Verstappen finishes in third place.
Third place.
And what a freaking race.
I mean,
after
got passed by Hamilton, but it's okay.
100%. And after a sprint race where he qualified 7th and finished 7th, we were not expecting him to be in P3 on Sunday. But yet,
dude,
you never count Max out.
You can't do it. Now, again, Max is in 7th in the championship, but you know who he's right behind? He's right behind Oscar. He's right behind Lando. He's not that far off.
I think it shows a step that Red Bull has made, that the Dutchman, the Flying Dutchman has made. Davy Jones is back. And he is reminding everybody, I am still the thing that goes bump in the night.
The thing about Max is you don't have to give him the fastest car. You just have to give him a car that he can wring the neck out of enough to win. And
conditions that put everybody else on edge. Like, so you have a Leclerc that's saying, I can't get the tires into the right zone. Max is like, my car hasn't been in the right zone the whole season. So I'm just going to figure this out. And who did he finish in front of? Leclerc. You have Piastri colliding. You have Norris, who he was in front of. Like Max is not just wringing the neck of the car, he's taking full advantage of the conditions that are lowering everybody else's performance.
Yes.
He is able to shine in a better way. When the track's good, when the grip is high and his car still sucks, it's going to be tough for him. But on a weekend like Canada, where it's freaking freezing and everyone's trying to figure it all out, he's like, I've got this. And he did. He was on the podium.
No,
it was
so
Mercedes,
solid.
Ferrari, Red Bull.
I mean, the kind of podium you want to see in these races.
Exactly. His first podium of the year.
Dude, it felt good as a Max fan. It felt good to see him back. Again, you know, caveats aside, when there are caveats, Max optimizes the weekend. And so we saw that from Max. We saw that from Lewis. When there's a curveball getting thrown, like they're going to be able to bring that just universe of experience.
Yes.
And they're going to be able to capitalize. And they both did that. And but for Max, it was good to see him back. Lewis was in a low way last year.
Max never quite got there.
But Max has been in a low way this year. Like he's not had the car to reflect his talent, to reflect what he brings to the sport. And there's been that talk of like, hey, Max might actually walk away. Like his race engineer is going to McLaren. Like, he's had so much transition around him at Red Bull these last couple of years. And it's been difficult to see Max waver. And it sent shockwaves through 100%. F1 as he's wavered out loud and he's contemplated a life outside F1. People have been like, we can't think of F1 without Max. And so for him to finally get a podium is just like, oh my God, the world is right again. Now, again, there's 22 drivers. 100%. They're all gunning for a podium, but Max just brings this ruthless racing to F1. And it was so good for him to just be back up there. And again, caveats aside, he was there. I'm hopeful we can see some more magic in Monaco for Max. Oh, magic in Monaco for Max.
Magic Max. Magic Max it is.
Magic Max.
Yeah.
But all that being said, but the other thing I want to say is freaking Isaac Hadjar in 5th.
That was impressive. That was impressive.
That was a
tumultuous race. He was right behind Max the whole way. It was not easy. And it definitely wasn't, because if Max had to wring the car of that neck, that means that Isaac also had to wring the car of that neck to get that
Dude,
kind of position.
I like Isaac. This
I
is
like him
not
a lot.
the Red Bull
I
of
like him
Yuki
a lot.
down in 20th,
Nope.
Max in second.
Sergio
They are literally
flashes
right
in the
there.
pan. Yeah,
Right
there
there.
seems to be a lot of consistency coming from Isaac, and I think what that tells you is, look, leading into this race weekend, I think we were up to somewhere close to 450 laps of Grand Prix racing. Max had been in the top 3 for less than 20 of those laps. This race, he finished in the top 3. Red Bull has brought significant upgrades to their car. And now you have not just Max in P3, you have Hadjar in P5. And I think what this is
not a
saying
fluke.
is Max and Red Bull's going, we are not going to be the Mercedes of the downforce. We're not doing that. The ground effects Mercedes is not our story. We're going to change. We're going to adapt. That crazy not DRS, the active aero wing they have. It looks like a gaping mouth of a whale shark. And I'm like, dude, it's the craziest thing to watch. And I think it's so cool.
Oh, it's incredible.
And they're figuring it out. It's not perfect, but man, they're taking some giant leaps. And Hadjar is right there. And it was a great points weekend for Red Bull as a whole.
It was huge points.
100%.
To finish in third, to finish in fifth, massive.
Well, and think about where they were last race in the championship standings versus where they are now. They took a massive leap.
Massive.
Because they were smack dab in the center of mediocre.
We were even talking about it. Like,
they were beige Volvos. They were oatmeal without any honey. They were the plainest of plain.
So true.
Previous. You know what I mean? Oatmeal is a triggering statement.
Yeah, very triggering.
And
thousands of bowls of oatmeal eaten in my life.
But you know what I mean? Like they had nothing really to shine about other than the fact that they had a 4-time world champion on their team that didn't have a car that could perform. And all of a sudden, boom, Canada, they just pop onto the map hot and ready. A Pop-Tart.
Dude, they did not deserve to be in the same sentence as Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren before Canada. They have now re-entered the conversation.
Yes.
Alongside McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, where there can be a 4-way fight this season. Because before we were including them with the likes of Alpine.
Well, because they had
Bulls and Haas.
They had hardly any more points than them.
Barely.
But they were in the same point range. And now they've bumped 20. They're 20 points above Alpine.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Huge. And again, like, we go to Monaco, and if there could just be a little magic on Saturday, who knows what's possible? Who knows what's possible? And Monaco favors a driver like Max. You remember, I think it was last year, it was Fernando and it was Max at Monaco, where they literally Max had a masterclass clipping the wall to shave off like 1,000th of a second for pole position. That's the track that rewards expertise,
exactly,
wisdom, skill.
Yeah,
Max brings all that.
Yeah, the only caveat I would say is that Hadjar has 14 points this season, and 10 of them came from today.
But 10 of them came from
today,
Canada. Let's up into the right.
Yes.
Up into the right.
Yes.
Let's freaking go.
Max has 15, so you're kind of looking at 15-10. That's a pretty good even teammate looking. I mean, that's pretty good.
Isaac, the thing about Isaac that I've appreciated is that Isaac gives me the vibes of like, I don't freaking back down.
Yeah.
I'm here. And it's kind of nice where he came in at a year where Max isn't out winning every single race. They're both having to get really scrappy. They're both kind of starting from the ground up.
100%.
And Isaac is...
They're building together. And I don't think... I think that's very unique. I think that's very unique for Red Bull. Max has come in... And when he came in with Danny, it was like, I've got to prove myself. With everybody else, it was them just crumbling under the weight of his existence. And then with
very breath,
yeah, exactly. Like they just and they just like withered. Like anyway.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, this is all new, and our car kind of sucks. So let's just figure this out together.
Yes.
And it's awesome.
It's and that's the one good thing, because that doesn't happen all the time.
No.
And when you are in a scenario like a Mercedes or even a Ferrari, you are going to have more of that tension between the drivers, where because of where Red Bull's at right now, it feels like Isaac and Max are like, okay, let's just freaking go.
100%. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. what was really interesting to me is two other people that we don't normally talk about. Franco Colapinto, his best ever weekend in F1, 8 points,
Dude.
finishes in sixth place.
Huge.
Great job from the Alpine driver. His teammate Pierre coming in 8th place, getting 4 points. So solid weekend for Alpine, 12 points, bumped them up. They're right underneath Red Bull now. Franco,
dude, you know,
Alpine in general right now,
dude,
is pretty strong.
Alpine is in 5th place.
They made the right decision with the Mercedes engine, and it is starting to pay off. They were my dark horse from the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
They're not quite being as a darky horsey as I would like them to be.
But they're behind Red Bull.
They are right behind Red Bull.
They're racing, and they're
top of the mid-pack.
Entering the conversation.
Which is what they were. Like, think back in the Renault days.
Yeah.
They were always top of the mid-pack. They were always chasing 1, 2, 3.
Dude, there's one year where they were like 3rd place.
Yeah, and now they're creeping back up there again, and it's very encouraging to me. And I don't know what it would be like based off of this last season of Drive to Survive to work at the Alpine team. It seems very stressful.
Yeah, very stressful.
Very stressful.
It's the worst.
It seems very 1990s masculine toxicness at its worst. And but Franco had a killer weekend. Dude. And I thought he was a winner this weekend. I thought he deserved a well done.
And that's the piece of this where you're starting to see these younger drivers have the moment in the sun come through. Again, like in the top 10, I'm just going to count this out for you. We have Kimi.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Isaac.
Yep.
We've got Liam. We've got Franco. We've got Ollie. We've got freaking 5 of these young guns in the top 10 this weekend.
It's amazing.
That is incredible to see that kind of young, raw talent showing up in the points.
100%.
And again, there's a ton of freaking race winners and even championship winners who are not in the points this weekend.
Yeah. Another heartbreaking weekend for Alex Albon. Alex Albon is sitting in the Drivers' Championship with 1 point. He's 17th on the grid right now.
So rough.
His teammate is 13th with 6 points. So we're not talking a huge spread here, but man, has Alex had freaking terrible luck. It has been a trash season for Williams, and it has been brutal for Albon. And this weekend, to get taken out by Piastri was just a salt in the wound, dude. It was rough.
You know what Albon's giving me? Albon's giving me George Russell Williams vibes right now.
Yeah,
which
that's true.
You never want to see it, but we've barely talked about Albon this season.
100%.
And I want to talk about him.
I love Albon.
Albon's freaking great. But Albon has just had the worst freaking luck. And Williams is not where they want to be. And they're, we've got Sainz getting some points, but Albon is just, he's not someone we've even really thought about.
Yeah. Well, I think they had an encouraging performance in Miami. Mm-hmm. And so we arrive here in Canada.
Double points for Miami. Yeah.
Exactly. And we're expecting something. One.
Your expectations
yeeted into the wall, dude.
Your expectations are too high.
And Carlos, Carlos does okay. It's just what's going on with Williams, dude. It's just, I thought this was supposed to be your regs. Like, I thought this was supposed to be it, and we're just not seeing it.
No.
Man.
You know the last person I want to talk about before we close?
Yeah. What is it?
Lance Stroll.
Oh, God.
No, I actually don't have anything to say about Lance Stroll.
Okay, good.
I have forgotten Lance Stroll was an F1 driver still. I have forgotten Aston Martin is an F1 team still. You know why? Because Cadillac is ahead of them.
Yeah. Well,
in the points. They have 0 points, and they're still ahead of them because of how badly Aston Martin has been this season. I want Alonso to have something.
Yeah.
But they have just... It feels like F1 needs to do what European football leagues do, where when you're at the bottom, you drop to the league below.
Yeah. Well,
and then
that's
if
not
you're in
happen.
the top of, the F2, you jump up. Obviously, that's not going to happen because there's just canyons of differences in all the things between those leagues. But Aston just feels like they're not even part of F1 right now.
Yeah.
because of how badly they are.
Yeah, Aston Martin is in a world of hurt. And also simultaneously proof that money doesn't fix problems.
Money and talent doesn't fix
It's
problems.
Crazy.
You think with Adrian, you think with Alonso, you think with Honda, and it's not fixing the problem.
The only thing that you can point to at this point in time with them is leadership. If the age-old ism is that everything rises and falls on leadership, they are falling very hard, and they are still falling.
They're still falling.
They
haven't stopped falling.
We're celebrating the fact that they figured out how to stop the car from vibrating, so that the drivers can actually last an entire race.
And the drivers,
which, by the way, they still don't. The car doesn't last an entire race. So, like, Alonso was done, and Stroll is just kind of fumbling around the back. I'm like, dude, just go. Everyone just needs to go home. Anyway, we're done with Aston Martin. We're done with Aston Martin. We're looking at Monaco next. I still think Joker lap is a vibe. I also have been thinking a lot about what Alex Brundle said when he came on.
Yes, spec car,
tiny,
10 million pounds,
designed, go.
Yes,
that's fire. Love that idea, because we're going to have an amazing qualifying followed by a beautiful processional through the incredible streets of Monaco.
I just get angry because I'm getting gaslit by Monaco.
Yeah,
every Sunday.
The required pit stops not helping.
Nope.
Anyway, the cars are thinner this year, but not thin enough.
Nope.
It's not going to happen.
Who is on the podium for you in Monaco?
Who's on podium? Podium for me is George. I think George is going to bounce back this weekend. I think Kimi's going to put it in the wall.
George is about to crack.
I think Kimi's going to put it in the wall. He's too aggressive for Monaco. He's been so aggressive this season. I think he's too aggressive for Monaco.
I mean, he was mowing the lawn in Canada.
I think George's pole guy. I mean, I think
if I've got to flip a coin between the two of them for pole, I'd say George.
Then you've just discovered who's going to win the Monaco Grand Prix. Kimi's not going to try to overtake at the Monaco Grand Prix. Even he is not that crazy. I think it's going to go George. I think Kimi's going to put it in the wall in qualifying. And then I think we're going to have Chuck Hamilton. That's my vote.
It's a good vote.
No, I said boat because it's Monaco.
Very nice.
I'm getting in the boat, you know.
I like that. I'm gonna go that Kimi has the luck of a champion. To
as Gilles Villeneuve says, Gilles Villeneuve, not me.
You've requoted.
I requoted
I'm gonna
him.
Say he's got the luck, and he just you just ride that wave.
Yeah.
And I think he's gonna ride it, and I think he has nothing to lose. George is not in his head. He is deep in some dark place.
Soul,
he's in his soul. That's going to show up at Monaco. I'm going to say Kimi's going to be on pole. Kimi's going to win it, and I'm going to put both Ferraris up there.
Okay, well,
that's my bet.
So Kimi will win it. You think George is nowhere, and you think the Ferrari's going to be. Well, and on that, we're going to close this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, and so you can tune in next week to hear how wrong we were in our predictions.
We're always wrong.
We're not always. But definitely 99% of the time, we are wrong. And considering we haven't done this 100 times, we're always wrong. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, folks.